The polls are officially closed. Your local election headquarters will take it from here. The state's top candidates for governor ready to see the results.
I think people are going to vote for change.
We're voting to protect Connecticut jobs, protect Connecticut values.
And Connecticut's petitioning candidate hoping people voted outside of the two parties.
It's going to be the same old garbage.
Voters now waiting to find out if their candidate will take home the top prize.
My voting experience was good, wonderful. I hope I voted for the right person.
News 8 has live team coverage tonight from across the state where candidates are stationed at their election headquarters. And we are glad you're with us tonight for our special midterm election night coverage. I'm Darren Kramer.
I'm Ann Nyberg. We have a close eye on several top races, and we'll bring you the very latest results as they come in throughout the evening.
Yeah, along with our live team coverage, our Capitol Report team is here in studio standing by tonight. They will bring us analysis as we start to learn those election results here in just a few minutes. First, though, breaking news, voter turnout has been big for the midterm across Connecticut. Take a look at these lines. This is New Haven, where people waited in long lines to register to vote tonight. Connecticut does allow same-day registration, but people were warned that lines to register on Election Day can be long, and in New Haven tonight they were.
All right, let's begin our team coverage in Hartford, where Democratic candidate for Governor Ned Lamont is at Dunkin' Donuts Park with Senator Chris Murphy, who is up for re-election.
Yeah, our chief political correspondent Mark Davis live from their election night headquarters. Mark.
Hi, Darren and Ann. Good evening, everyone, from the clubhouse here at Dunkin' Donuts Park in downtown New Haven. Yes, this is the election night headquarters for Ned Lamont, Chris Murphy, and all of the underticket in the statewide races among the Democrats here in Connecticut tonight. But we've already been affected by those long lines at New Haven. Mark Bradley, who is the campaign manager for Ned Lamont, had promised to be here right now to talk about how things were going. He's been called back to New Haven because of that apparent chaotic scene at New Haven City Hall, where people have been in line, some for as long as 4 hours, for same-day registration. What the Lamont campaign is trying to ensure is that once they do get their same-day registration, that they have some place to vote. And, you know, the rule is if you're in line to vote at 8 o'clock, they have to make an accommodation for you. As I said, this is the headquarters for all of the Democratic ticket, and we're expecting all of them to show here. I understand that Murphy's race has already been called. Was that by the AP? Well, I thought the producer was saying that the Murphy race had already been called, but I don't hear anything. Is that correct, Tiffany? All right, both the Associated Press, thank you, both the Associated Press and the Cable News Network have proclaimed Chris Murphy to be the winner, and that apparently is based on exit polling. It's no surprise. Murphy had been leading in all of the public polling that's been done up until today, with about 15% of a lead on his Republican challenger, Matt Corey, who is a small businessman who owns a pub here in Hartford and a window washing business. So we expect things to really start get cooking here as numbers start to come in, which you will be seeing on the screen for the underticket and for the governor's race. Live at the Democratic State Party election night headquarters in Hartford, Mark Davis, News 8.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. The election night headquarters for Republican candidate for Governor Bob Stefanowski is in Rocky Hill.
News 8's George Colley is there live with more from his campaign team tonight. George.
Well, good evening. Yes, we're at the Rocky Hill Sheridan, where I got to tell you, we can't turn the camera because of all the other cameras beside us, but this place is packed already. I have never seen so many people inside one of these election watch parties at 8 o'clock as we've seen here. Very different food spread than we've seen in the past. So some of them are making those comments as they go by, but this place is packed. Republicans that I've talked to today, especially with the Stefanowski campaign, they're being cautiously optimistic. They just don't know what to make of what we're hearing about these turnout numbers. They don't know if having turnout high in the rural areas and the suburbs are going to help them, or because if the turnout's high in the city, if that will hurt them. So really, they're coming into this with the polls closing right now, just like us, kind of waiting for these returns to come in. The talk of the Stefanowski campaign over the last hour has been almost exclusively about that situation at New Haven City Hall. I've had several of his high-ranking campaign officials come up to us saying that the reason that they asked to have challengers at the polls is for situations just like they're dealing with right now. He says that their challengers have been there. They've had video cameras going, kind of filming the whole thing. But there's a lot of concern here with the Stefanowski camp as to what's happening there at New Haven City Hall. So in terms of Bob Stefanowski himself, the guy was about as laid back and loose as any candidate I've ever seen the day before an election. Now, this is his first election that he's been involved in, so we joked a little bit earlier on the night saying whether it's because they have internal polling that shows him ahead or if he just doesn't know better at this point because he hasn't been through it before. But he really is confident and pretty optimistic that they have the momentum coming into this. And the people here that are coming in, a lot of smiles on their faces. I think these state Republicans feel like they may have it in this one, but we will find out here as the night goes on. For now, from Rocky Hill, George Colley, News 8.
All right, George, thank you. Petitioning candidate for Governor Oz Gribel is in Hartford tonight.
News 8's Amy Hudak is live at his election headquarters. Let's check in with her. Hi, Amy.
A lot of excitement here in Hartford, and we actually have Oz Gribel here. Oz, polls just closed a short time ago.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Feeling great. Feeling absolutely great, confident as we've been all along.
Where did you make stops today as you voted?
Monty and I took about probably a dozen to 15 different polling places. I know I started up in Putnam and worked my way down 395 to do New London. We went across to New Haven. Obviously a lot of rain, particularly along the shoreline, got over to Norfolk. I'm trying to remember where I ended in, last stop I made was Avon, coming back in and made that kind of a circle over there. And people, you know, it's a great turnouts, as you've all been reporting, tremendous turnouts, which we think bodes well for us.
For sure. What do you think the biggest issue was today that voters were talking to you about? What was on their minds as they walked in to cast their ballots?
Well, I don't, you know, a lot of people don't want to talk. They want to go right in, so it's not so much you have a lot of conversations with them. But the theme from the beginning has been, and everybody articulates this differently, but great frustration with lack of job growth, great frustration with increased taxes and reduced services. I mean, that's, I think people, you don't mind paying taxes if you know you're getting the services, but when the monies are going into things like having to deal with an unfunded liability problem we've not dealt with, that really angers people. Gasoline tax is supposed to go into transportation infrastructure that doesn't. Those are really the common things. Now, there are always going to be issues around things like the opioid crisis, and a Roe versus Wade decision will come up. And those are important, but the core issue, and this is why we've been talking, no net job growth in the state for 30 years, more taxes and fees at ever higher rates, still underinvestment in transportation and education, underinvesting in agencies that take care of the most vulnerable. That's what angers people, and that's the reason we've been running as an independent ticket and why we'll govern as an independent ticket.
And all along you've kind of said the choice for you is the choice for getting away from the traditional two-party system that hasn't worked.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum on one side, and you have Monty Frank and me on the other. 4 more years. If the political gremlins steal this election from Monty and me, we're going to get 4 more years of what you've seen in ads. Whoever wins is just going to be lobbing bombs back at the other party, and they'll be lobbing bombs back at that party. And we'll have 4 more years of no net job growth and continued tax increases and underinvestment.
Oz, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll check back in with you throughout the evening. For now, live in Hartford, Amy Hudak, News 8.
All right, Amy, thanks. A lot more coming up here as we wait for results to come in. Our midterm election coverage will take you to the 5th district and more when we come back here in just a minute.